All right, folks. Hello again. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a very full agenda this evening. So I appreciate everyone being here. Love to see the full house. We will not have our treasurer's report this evening. Our treasurer, Eric, is traveling, so he will be here next month to share this month's report and next month's report with us at that meeting. Again, we have a very full agenda. I'm going to go ahead and just drop it really quickly in to chat, just in case anyone wants to follow along. Otherwise, we'll get into our first item, which is our guest speaker. Beth Fairman-Kinney is here joining us from the Franklin County Auditor's Office. She's got some information to share about an upcoming program. Beth's going to have presentation time, about 10 minutes, and then we'll have about 5 minutes for folks to ask questions before we move into our next portion of the meeting. So Beth, you can share your screen and the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Give me 1 second to share the screen. Okay, and voila. I think, there we go. Is it full screen for everybody?
We can see the PowerPoint. There we go. Now you're good.
Okay. So, hi everybody. I'm Beth Fairman-Kinney and I'm the Director of Community Outreach for the Franklin County Auditor's Office. And I'm so happy to be here today. And I am here to talk to you about the Franklin County reappraisal. So give me 1 second because my son's TV is a little bit loud. Yeah, can you? Sorry about that. Okay. Not that you could probably hear it, but it was a little loud for my son. So what is the reappraisal? So 2023, if you didn't know, this is the year of the reappraisal. All county auditors in Ohio are required by state law to update the value of the properties by conducting a reappraisal every 6 years. And then with a triennial update every 3 years, which is the midpoint between. But the triennial, if you recall in 2010, that is different from the reappraisal. And that's what we're going to get into it. This is just to, in effect, to accurately reflect property values in the current real estate market. And there we go. So what's different with the reappraisal this year is that we get, these are the following factors that we aggregate this data. So it includes recent home sales in your neighborhood. This is one of the most significant values. Neighborhood data, such as your infrastructure quality, proximity, community amenities, and then a visual exterior inspection of the property. One thing we also did differently this year is that we were out before March 31st, we had a neighborhood survey, which we asked neighbors to tell us how they felt their neighborhood was with several different regards. And so therefore that will allow us at the end, when we get the information from our appraisers, we can compare it to how neighbors actually felt about their neighborhood. And this slideshow was just updated this morning because we're constantly getting new information. This here, we want to make sure that people can visit our new website, okay, which is the Know Your Home Value website. And I'll make sure to put that in the chat afterwards. And we have a new video that was just launched on there that actually describes everything that the reappraisal is. It's kind of cute. So the timeline is right now, in August, property owners will be notified by mail, okay, about their new tentative property valuation. In August, if you disagree with that, then you can go to our website or on our phone and you can set up a property review session, and we will have those in the neighborhood in September. And that's about a 20-minute property review session that you can meet with our team to say, no, I disagree. If you are fine with the value that you receive in August, you don't have to do anything. In December, you'll get that is when it's finalized, and then that will go for your next tax bill. Okay, so this is where we're really saying there's been some news in the dispatch about how this affects you. So most of Franklin County property owners will see, hang on, cat. The joys of doing meetings from home, right? My cat was about to knock over everything. Most properties will see a property value increase. This is due to a perfect storm of factors. This includes the hot demand for property, local population growth, the lack of sufficient housing stock, all the things that you know. And I do have at the end of this, I actually could share with you some property values that have been in your neighborhood. So all of this combining, we're expecting everybody in Franklin County to see an increase in value. This shows you the current communities that are doing. Hey, Shane. Okay, so this shows you in all the counties around us. So you see Delaware, Franklin, Pickaway, Licking, we're all also going through the reappraisals, and then in the red shows the ones that are doing the triennials. And you can see that all across Ohio, we're also seeing property increase with the final reappraised values is what we're expecting. So it's not just us. Okay, how will this affect your taxes? That's the next biggest question. It is likely. So this process is not intended to increase or decrease taxes, but it's to get that value so that we're staying with the market. But it may change your taxes next year. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. So if the property value increases by 20%, that is not correlate directly with a 20% increase in taxes, for example. And you can go to the website and go into seeing where your property taxes go right now. And this slide mainly says the same thing, that it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but there may be some increases and decreases once you get that final value. So what we're asking neighbors to do right now is go to the Franklin County Auditor's website, make sure your information's correct. And I'm saying that is to make sure you have the right number of bathrooms, bedrooms. I talked with a homeowner the other day, and through the process of different owners, there were changes in the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. And so our website had the wrong information. And so that was able to be updated, and that information does affect your value. So please do, if you feel that that is incorrect, let us know. Okay, where can you find the information? Once again, I'm going to point to your Know Your Home Value website. We are continually updating this website. In July, we'll have an interactive GIS mapping and neighborhood data tool. And if I recall from working with Marion Village before, we have some people here who really like data. So definitely check that out. In July, we'll have a property tax projection tool. So that might give you an idea of like what it will be next year. And then in August will be the property review scheduling portal. And if you go to the website right now, you can also see, so if there's anybody here who knows another civic association who would like to have a meeting, you can request a presentation through our website also. So there's also some FAQs on the website that go more into detail, which is kind of helpful as we're navigating this. And cute website that I know you've got a large agenda. I don't want to, but you can, it's going to play automatically. I recommend going to the website. Let's request a speaker. I'm going to let you know we continue to have our other current programs to help with property tax, including homestead, the property tax assistance program, and our other reduction programs. That those do continue. So if you know a person who will qualify for that, we are continuing those programs, and we'll continue to market those out when we're at different events and festivals too. Okay, this is the other slide I want to share with you. So what I did is I got some information about the delineated neighborhood. So I wanted to share with you kind of where you were. So if you go to the Franklin County Auditor's website right now, you can actually look at the delineated neighborhoods, but they're not going to have the value. As the Know Your Home Value website gets more data into it, there'll be more information like this. And Jess, I can email this to you afterwards so that you can share. So this here are the delineated neighborhoods. When we say this year, yes.
We are still seeing the Know Your Home Value slide.
Hang on. I'm going to stop sharing and try to do it again. Let's switch. Thank you. Or else I'll be totally talking about this because I feel like I'm trying to cram a lot of
there we go.
Here we go. So delineated neighborhoods. So I have looked at some history maps of different delineated neighborhoods. They have definitely tried to get more specified. So as you see the different colors with the different numbers, those are like houses, okay, like parcels. And then all the white there, that would be your commercial and industrial. So those aren't factored in, but with your neighborhoods, you could see that they're kind of like houses. And they've increased the number of delineated neighborhoods in Franklin County this time versus looking at the last few times. So with this, as you see the different neighborhoods, here are what I wanted to do is I wanted to share the value. Okay, so you can see the median sales value, because as I said, that is one of our most significant. And here in Marion Village, I just kind of highlighted it there. You can see the 2020 median sales were 296,000. In 2022 is 385,000. Now, for a lot of people, when I say this, like everybody's like, okay, yeah, I know, like I've been on Zillow, I've seen what my neighbor's house sold for, I know, but it's always something I'm trying to share. And I'm trying to share this information with people across the county, because as you see, like in this neighborhood and the neighborhood names that they have, as I said, this is done by our real estate team. So some of them do make sense with the neighbors, but if you see, like when we go to this, a neighborhood that the South Side Carnes Park, which goes from 195 to 252, you know, or Southgate here, 50,000 to 150,000. So some neighborhoods are seeing bigger changes. How we know, you know, this is where I say there's a lot of things we're kind of gathering a lot of data. We don't have all the end results, but I just wanted to make sure I got out to you to share with you that this is coming and answer any questions if I can right now, and let you know that we're trying to do our best from our office to make sure that people know how they can, that this is going on, all the different steps within, and how they can participate in the process. So thank you.
Thanks, Beth. If you have a question, feel free to use the hand raise feature. If that's not available to you, I'll also just ask folks to jump in just to make sure we get any questions. I have a question that I think most people are probably wondering. If folks do receive that valuation in August and for whatever reason disagree with the valuation of their home, what will that process look like? As far as I'm sure there's an application, but are there supporting documentation that they need? Do they need a valuation from a realtor? Do they need specs on their home? What will people need to support that?
So the tentative, in September, so that is going to be different from if anyone's gone through the Board of Revisions, and we still have Board of Revision. So if you, and I'm going to say it's different because these are the tentative property values. And so you would have to call, make an appointment, or come to one of our sites to have the appointment. I don't have the details yet on what documentation they're going to need, but those are for tentative values. When we do our BOR, it's more intense, in which you do need to have information. They'll need to, sometimes you need a reappraisal of your own. Sometimes you need to have, you know, what are the comps in the area. And you'll have more documentation of what's going on in the house. That's with the Board of Revision, and that will take place next January, like we do every year. And then you would go into the mediation to go into that. The tentative property values, how it's been explained to me, are not as intense at that, but I don't have the details yet of what is going to be needed. So
thank you.
But I will have more information as we get closer to it.
Wonderful. Thank you. I know that when we did this a few years ago, myself included, some of us in the neighborhood did go through the process of meeting and, you know, saying, hey, my house is actually much older. And I was in one of those situations where we had a bathroom listed that was decommissioned years ago. So the process definitely, you know, was easy to follow then. And I hope for folks that want to go through it, that it's easy again this time as well.
Yes, I do. I do hope that we continue. Yes. And we are looking at places. I know we're going to be in like the King Arts Complex for at least a week when we're in the neighborhood. And we'll have the information about where we'll be in the neighborhood that you can come by. So it won't be just, you can always come downtown to visit us, but we're trying to be a little bit more accessible.
Wonderful. I don't see any hands raised. Is there anyone that has a question? I see we have a few folks calling in today. Just want to make sure that we capture everyone's questions while we have Beth with us tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everyone's time. I'll put there we go. That Know Your Home Value is in the chat, and
Wonderful.
I'll email you that document that has it's kind of a refresher of everything that I just said in a summarized version, and then also with those delineated neighborhoods. And let me know. And good to see everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for coming tonight. We really appreciate this.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a
Bye.
great night, Beth. All right, folks. So we will share that information as we receive it just to make sure it's accessible. And hopefully the process will go smoothly for everyone. So we're going to jump in tonight. We have a total of 3 zoning variance applications. So because we have 3 applications, we want to make sure that we are fairly allocating time. There will be a total of 15 minutes available for all 3 of these applications. That typically we'd like it to include 5 minutes for presentation by the applicant, 5 minutes to capture all of the questions that folks might have, and then 5 minutes for the applicant to respond to those questions. So if you've never attended one of our meetings or haven't attended recently where we have this process, it may look a little different than what you're used to, but essentially we will kind of go through that staged process. So when we get to the question phase, Tate, our zoning chair, will actually bring a document up on the screen that has all of the variances being requested for that application listed. And as you ask your questions, he will actually type those into the document so they're displayed for all to see. The applicant won't answer the questions immediately. They'll instead answer them as a bundle at the end, just to make sure things flow well and we keep time. The last phase of this, which is a little different, if you just have comments you want to share about the application, maybe it's not related specifically to a variance, but you have a concern or you have a comment that you would just like to pass along to the area commission and to the city, please feel free to put those into chat. We'll have maybe a minute or 2 at the end of each presentation where if you aren't able to type into chat, you can share that with us as well, but that period will be brief. So if you can type a comment into chat, please do use that feature. So without further ado, Tate will introduce our first applicant, which is 45 West Barthman Avenue. You will also know something a little different. You'll see Tate will have a timer displayed tonight over his video, and that's just going to help us keep track of the 15-minute period that we've allotted for each one of these presentations. So if you notice that's getting tight, then we're probably getting close to wrapping up. So we do ask everyone to help pay attention to that. The last thing I'll note is I'm going to be posting into chat the links to the voting forms for each of these items as we review them. If you are a member of the Marion Village Association and you have been since at least the 13th of April, that's the 21-day waiting period, you can go vote as you are ready for each one. If you're not here in the meeting tonight through Zoom, you can also go to marionvillage.org and find the voting link at the bottom. So Tate, all yours.
Great, thank you, Jess. As Jess mentioned, we do have a full slate here. So we have 3. We'll go ahead and get started with 45 West Barthman. Dave, I see you on the call. I'll go ahead and let you start, and I'll start the time once you share your screen and get started. Thank you all.
Hey everybody, so I know Dave's on the call, but I can go ahead and get started here. I'm working with Dave. My name is Scott Skinner. I work for a company called the NRP Group, and Tate, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Awesome. So I'll be relatively brief here. I'm just going to talk a little bit about our company and what we're planning for the site. So NRP is a national developer, contractor, and property manager. You can see our mission right here is to create exceptional rental opportunities for individuals and families, regardless of income. So we do both luxury market rate housing and really high quality workforce and affordable housing. We offer both those products, and they're things we're equally proud of. We were founded in Cleveland in 1994. We've been headquartered here since, but we did our first development in Columbus, I think, in 1996. So we've been around the area for a very long time and have been working on the South Side specifically for a very long time as well. The slide here just shows that we're fully vertically integrated. So we're a developer, contractor, and property manager. What that means for the purpose of this meeting and this community is that, for better or worse, I'm the person that you're going to be talking to and working with throughout the lifetime of this project. Through the financing structures we use, we're required to own and manage these developments for at least 15 years. So we will be around. We are not bringing in third parties to manage or to build the developments. It's our company the whole way through. A little information about us: we're active in 15 states. We have developed almost 40,000. We own and manage about 35,000 units of housing across those states. Here's what we've done in Columbus. So I've been doing work in Columbus for a very long time. We manage nearly 5,000 units across the state of Ohio, but currently own and manage almost 500 units of housing, specifically in Columbus. Some of that's multifamily, some of that is scattered site, single family developments, and done a lot on the south side. The two projects that we have images of right here are both on the south side. One is called Residences at Career Gateway, which is on the top here. That's a partnership between us, Community Development for All People, and Nationwide Children's Hospital. 58 units, was developed 6 or 7 years ago, and includes a workforce training component on the first floor. The second, Parsons Village, which is 2 phases of senior housing. So this is the site that we're talking about, 45 West Barthman. There's actually 2 parcels associated with this site. This is basically where the parcel line is. So this southern parcel is one. It is owned by a gentleman who's owned the land for a long time, and the northern parcel is owned by the Salvation Army. So we are taking the site, which I'll show you in a second. It's basically all of this along the railroad. This image is a little bit old since this image has been taken. On the southern parcel of the site, basically all these trees have been cleared. They still exist on the northern parcel of the site, but we have both properties under contract. So we don't own them, but we have them under contract to purchase. This is our site plan, just to sort of show you what we're thinking of. We're looking at 200 units in 3 4-story buildings. So again, for context, South High is right here. So it's about a block setback from South High, and South Wall goes along through here. So 3 4-story buildings. There's a cell tower and some significant topography back here, which is why we're staying away from this area. But you can see we have really ample parking. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But in a very large tree canopy. We'll be planting dozens of trees as part of this development. You can see sort of 2 community outdoor areas. One is a passive courtyard. Basically what that means is there's benches and grills and things for folks to do outside, and the other is a playground for kids there. Here's the actual site plan. So again, 200 units in 3 buildings. We have a lease club office here, and you can sort of see how it's laid out right here. Wrapping up in 57 seconds. So our partner in this, we're actually co-developer, co-owner here. Our partner is, we've worked with them a couple times, Community Development for All People, who's done a lot of great work in the neighborhood for years and years. One of the values we think we're offering here is, I'm sure a lot of folks on this call know, there has been a homeless encampment on the site. We're working with the community policing department to figure out how to, ethically get folks off the site once we're ready for development, how to do it safely. We have some substantial green space here. We're 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments. So it is a development that's designed for families, which we think is a great service for the neighborhood. Rents range from about $550 to $1,850 for those 1 bedrooms up to 4 bedrooms. So we consider it a mixed income development, although it's all considered affordable by the state. And our parking ratio is at 1.5 spaces per unit, or 1 space per bed, which we think is necessary here because there's nowhere else to park if you're not on the site. And then last thing I'll show you, this is a rendering of a similar project we're doing on the north side of Columbus at the old Alrosa Villa. We're really early on in this development, so we don't have renderings here yet, but this is very similar to what we would build here. Amenities for residents include a fitness center, community room, on-site parking, and a business center. And these are just professions associated with the income levels that we serve in these workforce and affordable housing developments. Timeline. Happy to talk about this in questions, so I'll stop there so folks can ask those. I went 30 seconds over. I apologize, Kate.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much, Scott. So we're just going to briefly take down your screen share, and Tate is actually going to bring up the list of variances so folks know what they're voting on, and so that we can document the questions. So don't see any hands raised yet, but if you've got a question, folks, please let us know so that we can capture that, and Scott can give us some responses here at the end. And also, Jessica Klinger, go right ahead.
I was just curious, since the proposed fertilizer plant is near this development, if they have any opinion on that or have any concerns about that plant.
That is a great question. We will be talking about that more tonight as well. Thank you, Jessica.
I think it's about like half a mile from that site, if I looked at it right.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's right there at the bridge going over to the area of the fort. So it's definitely very nearby. Okay, any other questions? Okay, here we go. We've got a question, just kind of echoing concerns. Okay, so not specifically, but how is the proximity to the railroad affecting the design, build, and soundproofing? So Tate will just drop that one into our document as well. And then I know we have a few folks calling in. If you do have a question and you're on the phone, please feel free to jump in. Want to make sure we capture everything. All right. I think that we've gotten all the questions, so we're going to go ahead. Just a couple here for you, Scott. Please feel free.
Yeah. I think one more question came in around pedestrian access as well. So one clarification I wanted to make here, guys, is, and Dave, if you're on the line and want to speak to this more, go ahead. But the variance request, we've actually changed our site plan since we put this application in. And the first bullet point here, the number 1, manufacturing district permitted apartment complex, I believe is the only variance that we're going to need in our requesting right now. Dave, is there anything that you want to add there briefly before I can get to these questions? I guess I said it perfectly. But yeah, section 3363.01 is the only variance that we're actually needing to work.
Scott, sorry to interrupt. What was that sent? Did Dave ever send that over, those updated? Did I miss that?
I believe he did. It looks like he's online connecting to audio. But in the meantime, while he's connecting to audio, Tate, if it's all right, I can start to answer these questions just so we don't waste your time.
Yeah, no, go for it. So you said the first one is the only one that you're requesting,
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
That's so the first question here, any opinion from the fertilizer plant of this project, about a mile away from the proposed site. So it is about a mile away. So I'm mildly aware of this project. I couldn't tell you the exact location, but if it's a mile away, it's frankly not something I'm terribly concerned about. There's lots of different uses that are a mile away from this and every site that we develop on. I don't have enough knowledge about that specific project to be able to speak to it, but I can say the buildings that we develop, we use building materials that are effect on the block of Barton Avenue High Wall. They're building materials that mitigate for sound, for materials, and for smell. While you can't solve for everything, we're confident in the fact that it's almost a mile away, and we'll be able to make this development a pleasant place for residents to live. 2, fertilizer plant, health and safety concerns, proximity to railroad tracks affecting design, build, soundproofing. So there's 2 things there. One, we do on the back half of our site, all those units that are facing the railroad track, we are using actually a different type of material for both the windows and for the actual siding and walls to help mitigate any sound or even vibration issues that can be caused by a railroad. As part of our development, we'll also be doing some very fancy studies, a sound study and a noise study, a sound study and vibration study, just to verify that the materials that we're using are sufficient to make those units pleasant and livable for the residents of our apartments. Number 3 here, any plans to work with the city to improve pedestrian access around there? Right now, that part of South High is not very pedestrian friendly and would be nice to improve as part of this. So I can't speak to South High because this project isn't directly along South High. But I can say we will be expanding the South Wall Road along our property line that will include a sidewalk in a way that will make it a little bit more pedestrian friendly. And just for what it's worth, the way that we think about this broadly, the way that I think about these sorts of developments are that when you're adding 200 units of density, which are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments, it's going to be plus or minus 330, 340 people. All of a sudden, if you're the city of Columbus, it makes sense to invest in pedestrian infrastructure and invest in things that can help make the neighborhood and community more walkable. Again, for our specific development, we're going to be working on South Wall because that's what fronts where we're at. And I can't speak for the city of Columbus, but am hopeful and optimistic that something more can happen there. what would be the effect of the block of Barthman Avenue between High and Wall? So there are two access points to our site. One is on West Barthman, and then one is on the northern portion of the site from South High. So we will be improving those roads in a way that is sufficient for the number of vehicles we expect to access our property. I hope that answers your question. I'm happy to be more to follow up if there's more of a specific question. But again, we'll also be improving South Wall, so the connection between those should be beneficial. And I think I saw one more question, Tate. I see you typing furiously, so I'll try to read it in the chat here as well. City is planning a bike trail extension directly across the train tracks. Any plans to connect to that? We are very open to connecting to that. I think it's a great resource for our residents. And we actually have, I didn't mention this, we ran out of time, but we do have a pretty good amount of bike parking on this site as well. So no immediate plans to connect to that until it becomes a reality, but it is something that our residents can benefit for, and we're more than open to actually to doing that as well. And then I see Zach, given the size, has there been any coordination with CODA addressing transit access near here as well? I believe the bus line cuts over a few blocks east too, unfortunately near here too. I believe there is a bus line along South High, or a bus stop that is relatively close to our site. If not, we will be reaching out to CODA most definitely to ensure that there is public transit access. While we do expect, and we see this in the Columbus market and a lot of our markets, even with these affordable and workforce housing properties, a lot of households have cars. You know, one of the things that we love about this site is its access to downtown Columbus and to large job centers. So public transit is something that's really important here. We will absolutely be reaching out to CODA. And we're even working with the county right now on potential funding sources, how to create this, how to turn this into a more transit oriented development site.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I think I got everything, Jess.
Yes, you absolutely did. Thanks everyone for your thoughtful questions. It's very, very helpful. We are even still within our time frame. That is phenomenal. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. I have pasted the voting link into chat again. So if you are a current member, please feel free to jump over and vote. I did hide the questions for the 3 variances that are no longer applicable to the project. So you should only see one item to vote for now on that ballot. And that will be the first item, which is 3361.01. So please go ahead and cast your votes. We'll leave the ballot open here for another minute or so to give folks a chance, and then we will share those updates. One thing I'll share quickly as folks are voting. We will not go through the process of checking and verifying all of the memberships at this point. So I will give you a vote count. We will be verifying membership and voting rights after the meeting, just before we pass those along to the area commission. So there is always a chance that the vote counts will change in our official meeting minutes once we've verified, just in case someone does vote that is not eligible to do so. But we will include those final counts in our minutes so that everyone has that information as well. So giving folks
while folks are voting, Tate,
Sure.
Dave's audio is not working. He did verify though the comment I made on this being the sole variance is correct, and I believe if he's not gotten you those materials already, he will immediately following this.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I did look. I did not see that come in.
Okay.
That's not a problem. I will go ahead and let our folks know at this Southside Area Commission that there's been a change as well, but make sure you just get those materials over. I know Dave will, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Is there anyone else that needs a little bit more time to vote? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and deactivate the ballot. And our vote counts, again, we are only going to have a count for item 1, which is section 3363.01 manufacturing district to permit an apartment complex with up to 200 dwelling units. So we received a total of 13 responses, 13 in support, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. So this recommendation from MVA will be in support of that variance request. We will pass that along to the area commission. We very much appreciate your presentation, Scott. That was a lot to present in a short period of time. So thank you very much for your brevity and for sharing that information with folks. So we understood this is a sizey development. So we really appreciate that clear presentation.
Thank you very much for your time, everybody. And if I think my email is probably available if there's other follow-up questions, happy to talk and looking forward to being a part of the neighborhood. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much for that process and getting your votes in for us. So we're going to move on here to our next presentation. Tate, the next one up is the property at
1135 Pearl Street.
Perfect. All
And
yours.
Amanda, I see you on, so I'll go ahead and let you have the stage.
Yes, so mine is definitely not as complicated and extensive as the previous one. I'll just share my screen. Mine's very straightforward. At this point, the site is zoned for a single family. And I worked with the city in order to change the variance to be up to a 3-unit dwelling. So that's really what we're here for, is to be able to build up to 3 units. There would be off-street parking for each dwelling, 2 off-street parking spaces per dwelling. That's pretty much it. I'm still working with the builder to do site plans, so I'll have to resubmit those to the city. But yeah.
Great. We can go ahead and move over in the question portion of it. I will go ahead and share my screen. I believe you're only requesting that one variance. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Great. Give me one moment. Let me get this situated here. You can go ahead and type your questions in the chat, raise your hand, and Jess will get you.
And Tate's going to bring up the questions and those will be on the screen. He'll type the questions in, but he's not going to type the responses going forward just because we'll include those in our meeting minutes. So that way he doesn't have to type furiously like a court reporter as we meet. So, but we will still take questions. So not seeing any hands raised just yet. The link for the ballot is also in chat. So if you are already ready to vote, you can feel free to do so at any time. Okay, not hearing any questions.
Well, while everyone's thinking, it will be owner occupied. So I'm excited to be back in the neighborhood once this is built.
Exciting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to just let the votes keep coming in. Folks, I'll give you another couple minutes here to vote. If you think of a question in that time, please just go ahead and let us know what it is. But otherwise, seems like you may be the quickest presentation of the night, Amanda.
I know. I was like, wow, I don't have quite the PowerPoint to show, but it's a hard act to follow.
All right. Looks like we're at 11 responses. I'll just give everybody another moment here.
And I know it's going to kill the suspense, but I am going to cancel the timer because I think we're all good to go here.
Yes, I think we can cancel the timer for this one. I think we're going to make it. All right. Is there anyone that needs some additional time to cast their vote? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disable this ballot as well. And for our final count, we received a total of 12 responses, 12 in support, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. So this one as well will be a recommendation from the MVA to support the variance request.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you for joining us, Amanda. And we hope you'll be back in the neighborhood soon.
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
All right, folks, last but not least, we have our final presentation of the evening. This is a larger presentation. There are a total of 9 variances. I believe some of those are existing conditions. So for the folks that are here presenting tonight, if you do bring up an existing condition, if you just want to make note of that, that's something we've seen a lot here because we have a lot of lots and things that don't conform to what is currently required from the city. So please feel free to call those out. But Tate, floor is yours.
All right, we have 391 Siebert. I see Brenda. I'm assuming you're doing the presentation. I'll let you go ahead and have the stage.
Okay, this project is at 391 Siebert. I'm going to share my screen. This project, I am the architect assisting the owner with the lot split and the site plan and identifying the variances. So this project, there's an existing house that's located that fronts onto Siebert Street. On the side is Rex Alley, which is 20 feet wide, and on the rear is Zimfer Street, which is a 30-foot wide street or alley. We'll talk about that later. So the existing house, this is what the existing house looks like. It's a nice brick house. It has a nice side yard. It is shoved over to the east so that there's kind of a 0 lot line condition on that existing face. The owner is proposing to split the lot into equal lots. As you probably are aware, there's a lot of these lots that are super long and they're getting split so that you can get a second dwelling into the neighborhood. So they're proposing to split the lot, have a couple parking spaces for the existing house, build a new house, and then have a couple parking spaces for the new house. There is an existing garage that would be removed as part of the project when the new residence gets constructed. And this is a view down the alley. As you can kind of see in this vicinity plan, to the east of the new house, there is already an existing house. And on the west side, there is an existing house as well. Across the street, there's an existing house and then a couple garages. So it's a nice mix on this street of houses and garages. So this is the existing site plan. You can kind of see this is the 0 lot line condition, and that's the existing garage that'll be torn down. And then in the newly constructed piece would be a new house with 2 parking spaces. So the variances, we'll start with just the 391 Siebert Street, which is the existing house. We're asking for a reduced vision triangle from 10 feet to 8 feet because of where this house sits on its existing condition. We're asking for the lot width to be reduced from 50 feet to 36 feet, and that's an existing condition. We're requesting a variance to reduce the lot size from 6,000 square feet to 3,280 square feet. This is a new condition created by the lot split. Request a variance to reduce the front yard setback. That's an existing condition, and request a variance to reduce the side yard from 3 feet to 0 feet. That's existing. For the new house, 2 of the variances are the same. So the lot width is going to be reduced and the lot area is going to be reduced. And the 2 variances for the house are going to be, City of Columbus says that this 30-foot width is considered an alley. So since it's considered an alley, we need to ask for a house to front onto an alley. So that is the 3rd variance. And the 4th variance is to allow the parking to be located in the side yard. So they want your parking to be 3 feet off of the property line, and we're asking for the parking to be tucked in at the side that'll be 6 inches away from the property line. So those are the variances. This is, these are kind of quick floor plans. It's a very modest house. It's just a 2-bedroom, living family mudroom, 2 bathrooms. And the architecture will fit right into the neighborhood with just a classic simple gable design. It is a very modest house that they're requesting to build. So that's it for the presentation. So we can go to questions.
Thank you, Brenda. All right, I'm going to stop your share. Tate will bring up his screen to capture those questions. As always, folks, feel free to raise your hand, post a question to chat if you prefer, or I'll just open the floor as well and you can start asking those questions. And of course, if you are ready to cast your ballot, the link is there in chat so that you can get your votes in. No questions yet? Okay, not hearing any questions come through. So if you have not yet voted, folks, please feel free to go ahead and start that process. Since there are 9 items to vote on, I will give everyone a few minutes to complete that process. Otherwise, if a question comes up, please feel free to interject. All right, is there anyone that needs some additional time? Okay, gonna go ahead and deactivate the ballot. And here are our vote counts. Sorry, folks, this one's taking a little longer to refresh. All right, looks like we received a total of 11 responses. I'm just going to quickly review here, see if there's any variation in these responses. Okay, for all 9 variances, all 11 responses were in support, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. So again, that is 11 in support across the board, and we will share that recommendation with the area commission. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brenda. Okay, well, that was pretty quick, folks. We really appreciate everyone. That was a great process. Can't believe we got through 3 different applications in such a short period of time. I think everybody is really getting the hang of this. So thank you all so much. Tate, thank you for keeping everything coordinated and organized. And we will now move on to our other items on the agenda. Okay. So next up, let's give a quick recap of Founders Day. So back on, let's see, it wasn't this past weekend, it was actually the weekend prior. So on the 22nd of April, the association, we held a Founders Day celebration to celebrate 38 years of the Marion Village Association, which was established in 1985. The actual anniversary was Sunday, April 23rd. We gathered with folks at the Info Center. We had neighbors paint rocks that we're going to be sealing and distributing to parks at Walker Park and Moeller Park, maybe even a couple other places. So as you walk through the neighborhood, maybe you'll get an opportunity to find a rock that you painted. Really enjoyed that, and thanks to everybody for participating in that. We also hosted a book and plant exchange. This was the first time we had done that, so a little slow to start, but we're hoping to continue doing those in the future, and excited to see what kind of fun things pop up at those. We, of course, had a toast to Marion Village for any folks who joined us and were over 21. Our member at large, David, who is not here this evening, was bartending for us and prepared lovely mimosas for folks, so we thank him for that. And just in general, we got to see a lot of really great faces and friends that we haven't seen in a while. I think we had about 40 folks join us at the Info Center during the day, so really appreciated that. That was the first time we had done this celebration, and the response was really phenomenal. So if you had an opportunity to come join us, thank you so much. If not, we hope you'll join us next year and for everything else we have coming up. But it was a really great time. So thanks again, folks. Southside Scholarship, Lauren, do you have an update for us? I think Lauren's here tonight. Maybe.
Hey, Jess, sorry, Lauren's away at the moment. She said no update though.
Okay, all right. We did get the application, so the committee is going through their review process. So we'll have more for everybody on that next month. But thanks to the committee for going through that process. All right, this is a reminder that this weekend is our spring yard sale. So that is going to be Saturday, May 6th. That starts at 9 a.m. and goes to 3 p.m. We have 57 locations registered, and there's always some additional houses that pop up during the sale. So really great spread. The map is live on our website, so you can go check it out, start plotting your adventure for the weekend and figure out which stops you want to hit first. But we're very excited about that. Immediately following the yard sale, we will be doing another spring cleaning donation drive with Goodwill. So if you have items you'd like to donate, maybe you had a yard sale and didn't quite sell everything, or you're just doing some spring cleaning, you can bring your donations down to the info center where we will collect them from 3 to 5 p.m. There is a list of accepted and non-accepted items on our site. Our website, we cannot take furniture at this collection simply because it is a space issue with the trucks they'll pick up, but clothing, housewares, you name it. And this year, for the first time, we are actually able to collect your e-waste items as well. So if you have old cables and cords, printers that no longer work, lots of great stuff. Again, there is a list on our website of what is accepted and not. Batteries, light bulbs, and televisions and monitors, those are not accepted items, but there's a lot of great items that are taken, and we hope that folks will be able to get some spring cleaning done with this. So come join us down there, again, 3 to 5, immediately following the yard sale. All right, what's next? So the 24th annual garden tour will be held this year on Sunday, July 9th. That will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Applications are open as of today. So if you have a Marion Village home or business that you would like to see featured on the tour this year, you can go to our website and apply. We would love to have you join us. We take gardens in all stages. So whether you've been tending your garden beautifully for 25 years, or maybe you just moved in and you're just starting something new, we'd love to see your garden in any stage if you are willing to share it with us. So please go apply. The application is open through June 11th. So you've got about 6 weeks to make that decision and see if you'd like to apply to be on this year's tour. We've also got our Marion Village Festival planning in full swing. The festival this year will be Sunday, August 27th from 12 to 6 p.m. Planning has been underway for a few months now. We've already registered over 50 vendors. We have 5 food trucks that will be joining us. We will have a beer garden again from our friends at Parsons North. Just a lot of really great stuff going on. If you're interested in being a vendor, that application is open. We are also still taking applications for bands and musicians who would like to perform. I believe we have a total of 6 sets available, and that application does close on the 15th of May. So if you're interested in performing at the festival, please make sure that you get that application completed as quickly as possible. We'll be taking vendor applications into July, so there is time if you're thinking about it, but we are over halfway full of vendors already, so please make sure to apply quickly if you'd like to join us. We would love to have you come and be a vendor for us. Let's see here. Story time at Walker Park. If you have little ones, we are doing story time at Walker Park again this year. That was set to start this past Monday, but of course rain did delay us from starting. So story time will be every other Monday. Would have started last Monday, so not next week, but the week following. That's at 5:30 at Walker Park, which is at the corner of Morrill and Bruck. It's the pocket park that is tended by neighbors and volunteers in the neighborhood. It's really a lovely place, and folks who have joined in story time in the past really do like it. There's also a great little library there. So if you've got some books that you've already loved and would like to share and pass along, you can bring those, or maybe find a new book to take home with you after story time. We're also taking applications if you'd like to be a guest reader. So maybe you're an educator or an author or a librarian, or you just really love books and you'd like to share a story with the folks who come to story time one evening. You can fill out our application and come join us one evening as a guest reader. Let's see here. Oh, I skipped right over One Fitness in the Park. So this has been a very popular series for us since 2020, and it is back this year. It starts this Sunday. It starts this Saturday at 9 a.m. in Moeller Park. These classes will be a mix of yoga and HIIT classes, primarily yoga. We'll be announcing them every week on our social media pages, different instructors who have volunteered their time for these classes. And we do suggest making a donation directly to the instructor at the class if you're able to join. So really looking forward to that. I believe we have a total of, I think it's 20 classes. It starts May 6th and it's every Saturday through the end of September, except for Pride weekend in June, because folks are really busy that weekend. So we didn't want to add another layer for things to be on the schedule for folks. So really looking forward to it. Hope everyone can join. It's just been really popular and we're excited to bring it back. Let's see here. This is just a reminder about our info center. If you were able to join us for Founders Day the weekend prior, you got a chance to come and check out the info center. The info center is a space that is available for reservation for parties of your own, book clubs, game nights, whatever you're kind of looking for up to maybe 25 to 30 people comfortably. If you're a member of the association, you can actually reserve the info center free. And if you are not a member, it is $15 per hour. Folks have held all kinds of different events, children's birthday parties, couple of baby showers, and of course we hold our events there often as well. So it's a great space, comes with lots of tables and chairs that you can use. It's a nice open room, and we hope folks will remember that resource is available. If you would like to rent the info center, you can actually do that through our website. We have a whole reservation form. You can select your date, your times, and we'll communicate with you about the details after that. So hope everyone will take advantage and give the info center some use. Let's see here, committee updates. I don't have anything to share. We don't have an active beautification committee. So as always, if you're interested in a beautification project and you'd like to help volunteer for that process, just let us know. We'd love to talk to you and see what kind of projects can spring up. Membership committee, we'll have some updates for you soon. We have a member who's helping us with some review of our membership and how we can be better at reaching out to folks, especially those who are maybe new to the neighborhood and haven't learned about the MVA yet or what we do. So look forward to more of that in the future. If you're interested in helping with those efforts and outreach, shoot me an email, president@marionvillage.org, and I'd love to have you help with that process as well. Nothing else for zoning tonight, just what we already shared. Tate is going to be kind of keeping track of the city's restructuring of that zoning process, so he may have some updates to share with folks soon, but nothing right now. And Mike, is there a social scheduled?
Yes, we will be, as always, on the third Thursday of the month. So this month that will be May 18th. And we will be going back to Gresso's, which I don't think we've been to in like 3 years. So,
Oh, wow.
which I'm not sure why, because they have my favorite pierogies there. So join us at 6 p.m. there. I'm hoping the weather's nice, and if it is, we'll sit out front. So you'll see us all hanging out there. And as always, try to wear your Marion Village shirts if you want to look really cool.
There's quite a variety now, so you can make a statement, show everybody which shirts you have. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. Okay, otherwise I'll quickly run through community activities and events. I'm sure some of you, we've actually briefly touched on this earlier. Our neighbors in the Reeb-Hosack community have a public community meeting coming up. This is next Tuesday, May 9th at 5:30 p.m. They are hosting this at the Resurrection Baptist Church. That's at 258 Hosack Street. And the entrance for the church, you're going to enter through the west side of the building. So this is a meeting to review a fertilizer plant that has been proposed. I'm sorry, I don't have the image to share. If anyone who's joining us tonight does happen to have that image up that kind of shows where the plant is located, feel free to share that. But if you haven't heard about this, I believe that the current owners, which I'm sorry, we don't know who those individuals are exactly, but the current owners are proposing to put in a fertilizer plant here in the neighborhood. It would not be in Marion Village, but of course would be very close and would potentially impact our entire community. So if you have concerns about that, if you're interested, if you'd like to participate, that is a public meeting. Again, that is next Tuesday, May 9th at 5:30 p.m. at the Resurrection Baptist Church at 258 Hosack Street. That is, I did verify with our neighbors in Reeb-Hosack that is open to everyone. So please do go and make sure you can have your voice heard if you are able to do so. The Southside Area Commission has their monthly meeting on May 23rd. That'll start at 6:30 p.m. and they are back at the Parsons Library. So if you'd like to get some updates on what the Area Commission has going on, you can join their public meetings. And then, of course, our next monthly meeting is Wednesday, June 7th, 7 p.m. here on Zoom, where we'll have plenty of information to go over as well. Otherwise, I'd like to open the floor. Are there any questions, comments, anything anyone would like to share with folks tonight while we are all gathered? Going once, going twice. Okay, it doesn't seem like there's anything else then. In that case, we will adjourn here. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This was a great large group. Love to see everybody interested. Really appreciate your time. We have so much coming up. Our event season is really in full swing. So hope to see everyone next month and at all of our events. Appreciate you all being here tonight. Have a great evening.